I hope everyone able to see the screen. See today's webinar from the Conneqt Digital, which we are talking about enterprise API management landscape and power of the API monetization. Okay, the agenda will be like the next 15 minutes. I'll be talking about Conneqt overview, and the next 15 minutes I'll talk about the current enterprise challenges and API management and how API management and monetizing helps. And I'll talk about few of the success stories which we have. Yeah, yeah. I'll just talk about our company. See, Connect Business Solutions. It is predominantly originated from one of the Tata Sons company. Earlier, there was a company called Tata Business Support Services. They were there in the industry more than 2 decades, and they were the leader in BPO segment with 150 plus customer base with 40,000 employees. So what happened like 4 years back, one of our parent company, Quest Corp acquired Tata Business Support Services and rebranded it to Connect Business Solutions. And 3 years back, what happened? Like many industry leaders, like many of the folks from like Wipro, Cognizant, Coforge, Mindtree, PwC, we started one more entity like the Conneqt Digital, where we are trying to help customers in 360-degree digital IT services. Yeah, and just to talk about our parent company, Quest Corp, it is a one of the conglomerate two plus billion-dollar company. It has a Fairfax holding, and in Connect Business Solutions, we have around 45,000 employees, and we are one of the customer lifecycle management leader and customer experience digital transformation leader. We have about 22 plus delivery centers across India, and additionally, we have other geographical locations as well. And 3 years back, what I mentioned, like we have started around 8 digital practices we have started. So just to give a background, digital engineering, one of the practice where we are trying to help customers using all open source technologies, be it .NET, Java, Mean, MERN technologies, be it LifeRay, content management, and another practice where we have a data and analytics practice where we are trying to help customers using data visualization, data lakes, any decision making intelligence, the dashboard creation, etc. And another practice, digital automation, where I'm heading this practice myself, Rajkumar here, having overall 23 plus year IT experience. This is my third year in Connect. Just to give background about myself, like prior to Connect, I was with Cognizant. I worked more than 10 plus in Cognizant. Prior to Cognizant, I was with Tipco and IQ at various companies. So digital automation, again, we have three sub-tracks. One is digital integration, where we are trying to help customers using various OEM products, MuleSoft, Workato, Dell Boomi, Tipco, Web Methods. And we have another subtract, digital process automation, using out systems, Pega, Appian, and Power Apps. We are trying to help customers. And another subtract, we have RPA, where we are trying to help customers using RPA products like UiPath, Power Automate, Automation Anywhere. And similarly, we have a practice in SAP, Salesforce, all enterprise applications, and we have our own sister company, QTech Cybersecurity, and we have a cloud practice, digital assurance, and we have a digital BPM as well. Predominantly, like Connect, we are trying to help customers. So, 40% of the business comes from banking and financial services, and 15% comes from insurance, and 17% from retail, e-commerce, and similarly like telecom, auto manufacturing, healthcare. In various industries, we are doing business and helping customers. Yeah, our digital transformation services predominantly were helping customers, be it like building any new launch, new products, new application building, and digitalization and automation, and any application modernization, platform transformation, and any customer experience, be it like employee experience, customer experience, and faster time to market, like where we are trying to help customers. We have just divided into three things. So one is the connected experience, where we are trying to help customers in like any omni-channel experience, building reactive and mobile development applications, any hyper personalization through enterprise customer data hub. And the second one is process excellence, where will help building API, creation of API monetization, and trying to and connecting any COTS applications like Salesforce, SAP, ServiceNow. And the next one is operational the efficiency. We have agile COE as well, and where we are trying to help customers in all cloud services like be it GCP, AWS. We have all cybersecurity and infrastructure management as well. So as I mentioned, like Conneqt Digital, we are trying to help in 360-degree digital transformation journey, which we have divided into three buckets. In previous slide, which I have already explained, one is omni-channel and customer experience, where we are trying to help customers building in portal content management, building any mobile application, omni-channel experience, cloud native applications. If you look at the below logos, where we are trying to use those all OEM products and helping customers, and process excellence, which I was talking about, all digital automation, digital process automation, and any digital integration, RPA, data analytics. If you look at the below logos, which we are trying to use and we're helping customers, and in end-to-end the digital transformation, we have cloud services and we have agile COE and DevOps and security, and we are already partnered with AWS, Azure, and GCP as well. So this is a brief about our Conneqt Digital overview, the entire 360-degree digital IT services capabilities. Yeah, next 15 minutes, I'm just talking about the integration challenges in the current the IT industry, the current any current the organizations. I've just put few challenges in beat in government sectors and fintech industries, retail, consumer goods, healthcare, manufacturing, automotive. So predominantly, like a lot of customers are getting painful, be it modernizing their IT systems, or like where there is a lot of rising customer expectation being in digital transformation journey, and and there are like the increasing importance in terms of service, and then there are a lot of market conditions are changing in terms of retail, right? Consumer expectations are evolving on day by day, and the customer experience, the rich customer experience, being it in mobile applications or reactive applications, and in healthcare applications, right? Like there is a lot of demand in the digital transformation, and there is a lot of security governance, and all the old outdated IT infrastructure. There are data in silos, where we don't have like the agility and extensibility to use that in a proper. In manufacturing, if you just see manufacturing in the industry, there is a lot of like cloud movement which is required, and there's a lot of visibility in supply chain, where we need to adopt new technologies like IoT, AI, and smart products. These are the few industry challenges in the current the trend. So in any organization in digital transformation, predominantly like integration is the one of the number one reason most of the new initiatives fails. The reason behind, like, there are a lot of like legacy infrastructure, and we have data in all silos, and we have disconnected customer experiences, and we have inaccurate data, and most of the data we are keeping in multiple clouds, and there were a lot of compliance issues. So these are the few challenges which I'm just trying to explain you guys. And if you look at, right, most of the enterprise data and processes are like highly fragmented. If you look at like as per the research paper says, average customer interaction crosses around 35 different systems. I'll just giving you an example like how the data will get exchanged with multiple the systems. And then out of this like only one third of the systems are like integrated as per the research. And today, in today's world, in any of the digital transformation or technical, the tech modernization, IT is spending around 80% of time in integrating with the systems, not innovating. It's a huge technical debt which enterprises are spending into that. Yeah. So next 15 minutes, I'll be talking about the API management and the monetizing of APIs. So why we need API? So what is the application programming interface? Predominantly, like application programming interfaces is a mechanism enabling connecting between two applications or intercommunication between two software component, which we can use using well-defined protocols where we can. It's a kind of like transport layer to transform the message in a various different file formats, be it like the XML, the CSV, any message, the various different file formats. So in API world, like many of the current scenario, why we need APIs? And then see, in earlier, like if you want to develop any the code which we have developed in using Java or like any technologies, how we can reuse that application programming interface. That can be like if you look at the left side, we can use always or like anywhere, anytime which you can access. Once you build any APIs, that we can use anywhere and we can access from anywhere, and there is a rich omnichannel consistent experience which you can build, and user interaction between customer experience, and we can build contextualization where you can use that APIs with the different channels, and you can build like personalized APIs where you can directly access the profiles, and we can use in mobile and cloud first approach, and where we'll be able to build like the decoupled digital experience and delivery and core systems, and these all APIs which we can leverage. Even we can co-create a products and services which we'll be able to use, and these APIs which once we loosely will create and will keep it in a loosely couple, and any of the in one of the organization which we have built in APIs, any other BU can also use. So in API building, predominantly like the CIO or like IT head, CTO, there were a lot of challenges. How do we start that API? The various challenges, which where do we start, and what kind of technical team which they need to build, and what kind of tools which they need to use, and then how do we start, and what is the business value, how I can get out of the business. So there are various challenges how we can do that different definition. Just to give an example, one of the business which they have developed a API, and the predominantly like the KPI for CIOs or IT head, they don't need to reinvent the wheel. That the same API can be reused. How we need to reuse that? So, so once that particular API, which we can keep it in API management, API gateway, which we can send that, we can build the API catalog, API discovery, which will be able to give the endpoint to the other BUs so that they can reuse. They don't need to invent, and they can also take use of that so that the overall cost can be reduced. So once we have like in the industry, like any organization build a API, right, which we can use in like why API management comes into picture. Like once we have developed and we have APIs, we need to manage. We need to use that across the where we'll be able to manage the APIs with security and scalability. So we have I have just put right side. If you look at like API management tools as per Gartner, I'm just putting a sample API the implemented landscape. So if you look at like APIs, right, like in any organization, which we can for any uh, the the master data systems, right, where we wanted to connect, like we can build a system APIs. Just to give an example, like I'm connected to SAP or like Salesforce to get a customer data. So if I build that customer data, and anybody can tomorrow, like any other business in the organization, can go ahead and reuse that API. So no need to create once again and spend cost on that. And the process APIs are like the where we'll be able to orchestrate and using multiple system APIs, I can create the orchestration, and at the end, like the where like the experience API can use up that the data, where like the end customer end users can use that experience APIs to get the relevant data. So I'm just talking about the overall like sample API landscape here, be it like the experience API, process API, system API. System API is generally like where you'll be able to connect any SaaS applications, any old legacy systems like legacy mainframe applications, or like any the file transfer which you'll be able to do, and then you can even you'll be able to connect to any the cloud database, local database, and even you'll be able to connect to the different applications, the third party applications which you will be able to connect. And usually, like if you look at the website like Central IT and the line of businesses where you will be connecting using the process APIs to get the relevant, the required data for the business state. And the top layer where is the omni-channel experience, where they will use the experience APIs. So as I was just talking about like the earlier, like the any IT head or like CIO, CTO has a lot of challenges, like how do we start their APIs, and what kind of tools which we need to use, or like so what kind of team and what is the business value which we need to come out. This is one of the slide which I'm trying to explain here, like the enterprise API adoption patterns. So any organization, if they want to start, I think they will start with the initial, like the internal organization APIs which they'll be able to develop using like usually typically like it is 6 months to a 24 starting around 24 months journey. Initial 6 months they'll be able they can develop internal APIs. So internal APIs are generally which I was talking about in earlier slide, where they will be able to build a system APIs to connect with their legacy systems, where they can connect and they can get the legacy system data, be it mainframe or like any legacy systems, AS400 data, or like any of their cards applications that matter. And the second level where they'll be able to build a functional APIs for their business specific functions, functional APIs, and then the business layer like business APIs which they can build, and they can code and build traditional and non-traditional APIs. So just yeah, and then I'm just talking about that the left side. If you look at that, right, uh, in current scenarios, like there is a competitive, there is a lot of competition in terms of like the margin compression, like where how we need to invest, and there is a lot of like evaluating risks in compliance. Once you build a APIs, for example, just I want to give it to a in particular organization, if I want to give it to the different BU, there are a lot of security risks. Security is one of the important role here. How we need to there should not be any data breach, and what kind of security authentication and governance which we'll be able to implement. There are various security things which I think the user authentication which we'll be able to do, and OAuth authentication which we can do, and even we'll be able to do a tokenization. And one thing is like which we can use these APIs into the internal organization world, and parallelly which we can use expose that APIs into the external world as well. where we'll be able to get a benefit and even monetize those APIs. That which I'll be talking about the in next slide. And pervasive innovation and business model. See, always like any customer, I think we need to see what is our differentiator in terms of our competitor. So how do we differentiate and how do we improve our the business need? If you look at, I'm just talking about one more like in disruptive technology. For example, if you have built a loosely coupled APIs, and tomorrow if you want to use any uh, blockchain or like artificial intelligence you want to use, right? It is very easy to adopt. If you have a three-tiered architecture layer with loosely coupled architecture, if I want to use any new things, right, I'll be able to easily adopt and I'll be able to use that. So without any disrupting the current architecture. So, yeah. This is one of the typical our API integration reference architecture, which I'm just putting here. Yeah. So if you look at top all the omni-channel experience, the omni-channel experience where the experience API can be used, and this is the API layer, and I'm just trying to put here like the MuleSoft business CSP layer, where we'll be able to connect any COTS applications or like the database, any ERP systems which will be able to connect. And left side we'll be able to connect any core systems, any customer specific core systems, or like we'll be able to build analytical dashboards, any third party applications also which will be able to expose APIs. And if you look at the governance layer, right side, I'm trying to put a governance layer. So in API management, the governance layer and all API security, yeah, security and orchestration, scalability, where we need to do a validation and enriching, and API policy enforcement, routing, and building the API catalog and the discovery. And governance layer, like where we'll be able to help, we need to we need to take care of all policy management, SLA management, and service registry, and how do we throttle the APIs. And we need to monitor once we build the various APIs which we need to monitor. That is where I think we need a API management tools where we can monitor, and we can give the sorry we can give the required access to a particular the end users. Yeah. Yeah, API monetization. See, API monetization is an important thing. Once we have built any APIs, right? Any organization, I think, which we can monetize and create a revenue out of that. So in any enterprise, I think once you have built in your own organization, for example, you have built a API. Just to give an example, department have few APIs, and department B wants to use the same APIs. So what we can do, like just to generate the maintenance and the development cost out of that, we can give. Uh, there are various monetization models which we can use. I'm just listing out the below monetization models. So other departments where they are trying to use, right, they can pay the small amount of money to maintain that particular APIs, and that cost can be used for the innovation. So I'm just listing out the monetized models. There are various monetization models. We have subscription based model. As and when I think they'll subscribe, the number of access based, or like monthly, annually they can subscribe, and pay their that pricing model and all, which we can set. And usage based, like number of the users which they are trying to use that model, that APIs, and pay accordingly. And premium model is predominantly like it is free and premium paid tiers kind of things, where the users can start using their pre-plan with limited features, and if they want to use like additional features like premium pricing, which you can upgrade and you can get it that one. And another one, I think, pay per call model. Users are charged for each API call they make. Just to give an example, I think some of the book publishing companies, they'll give like the number of books which will be using. Based on that, they'll charge accordingly. And number of time will be accessing to their website, they'll pay. We need to pay accordingly. And tiered pricing model. It offers like multiple pricing tiers and partner and reseller model. And another one is the data monetization model. So where enterprises value data and can monetize based on selling to their data into third parties. And affiliate model, where you can earn commission based on the traffic of the users you are getting. And another one is a licensing model. So you can specifically you can put some licensing charge based on the user license model. And ad supported model, where you can provide your enterprise APIs for free and then display ads, and you can create revenue out of that, you based on the user generating. And another one is a donation model, where you'll rely on user donations and contributions to support the APIs in the development and maintenance. And hybrid models, you can use that combine multiple monetization models to cater the different users. Yeah, and then you can create revenue out of that. So API monetization is an important thing for every in today's world. Any CIOs, IT heads, CTOs, they're adopting, because as and when they build their APIs, even they can use across their organizations with the different line of businesses. Even they can give it to external worlds where they can generate revenues. Just to give an example, like many AWS and Flipkart, Google APIs, they're using, and they're trying to they're exposing their APIs to the external world, and they're creating a revenue out of that. There are various examples like Flipkart, the Facebook has, Google has, Amazon has. So these are the various the monetizations model we have. And even I think we can create a new revenue streams using API monetization. There are various revenue streams I'm just listed out here. One is monetizing API access, and another one is the premium API offerings, and then partner collaboration and revenue sharing model, and even data monetization model. So these are the key important the revenue stream models, which in the industry many people are adopting. In monetization API access, like companies can charge developers. Even I think once you create APIs, right, you can create a developer community and developer portal where developers can go ahead and use those APIs, and they can suggest, and they can you can create that revenue model from that as well. And then premium API offerings, predominantly it will cater to specific customer needs. So once we have that particular API, there are customers, they will ask like additional premium features. In that case, I think we can tailor made that particular API and expose to that the targeted customers, and we can generate a premium revenue out of that. And the third one is partner collaboration and revenue sharing. I think where I think we can do a collaboration with particular companies, and we can co-create APIs, and then and then we can do a revenue sharing as well. And data monetization is predominantly like where APIs gateways where we can monetize their data, and then we can expose those APIs based on the access specific in real time data scenarios, analytics, data driven. There are various ways which we'll be able to do that. Yeah. Yeah, in the next slide, I'm just putting a few of the critical success factor for our API monetizations. Yeah. So companies can leverage APIs to predominantly like unlock like a lot of the opportunities, and then they can generate additional revenue out of that. If you look at I have just listed a few of the critical success factor: market demand and competition. That is one of the critical success factor. And what is the technology trends currently what we have, and what is the user experience, and what kind of scalability and performance we have, and what kind of regulatory and compliance considerations which we have, because the data breach and security, the breach is a very important thing. Security is an important role which plays here from the API, and we need to get the user feedback, iterations, and we have ecosystem partnerships as well. Yeah, I'm done. So next one, in the API monetization, I've just listed out a few of the pricing strategies. So when you want to monetize the API, right, there are various pricing strategies which we can adopt. I've just listed out. One is the transparent pricing and communication model, and the next one is yeah, transparent pricing and communication. Predominantly, like we should be transparent in our pricing structure, where we'll not be having any hidden price, and clearly communicate the target end users. This is how, like in our website, if you use the API, we'll be able to do the pricing and understand and enterprise the cost based. So before setting up the prices, I think we need to give uh, uh, as a trial kind of things, and then we can set the cost as well. And we need to experiment and iterate the pricing model, and we need to take a feedback based on the users. Then we need to set their pricing strategy based on the usage. And value based pricing, we need to consider the API providers or customers that can bring the revenue ROI, and we can gain that the pricing on the value based pricing. And customer feedback and support, where we need to get the customer the feedback the regularly, and then I think we can give a positive customer experience and justify accordingly. We can increase or like the decrease the pricing. And we need to monitor the user based using API management, and regularly adjust the pricing model accordingly. And another one is the dynamic pricing model, and where we'll adjust based on the demand and usage of the API access. And the other one is like discounts and incentive, where you can create. If you look at like some of the Flipkart and the Amazon, where that loyalty points and all they'll give, right? These are all like based on the customer the purchasing. They'll share the discounts and incentive loyalty points. So based on that, I think we can create some discounted model and a long term de-incentivized users, which you can create. And another one is the customer segmentation, where we need to identify the various customer segments and the customer the patterns, and we can budget tailor made pricing for the APIs. And there are the other one is like pay as you go pricing. So as and when they'll use the APIs, which the user has to pay. And the other one is the tiered pricing. So it offers like multiple pricing, different tiered of different usages. Okay, it's based on the user limits, and based on the user can choose their the APIs. And the last one is like a free tier APIs. It offers like so discount based and annual and long term commitments, which you can do the pricing. So these are like various pricing strategies. If you want to do these, expose these APIs to the external world, and create revenue out of that, these are all which you can do. And for the internal organization, if you create APIs, that I think internally, I think which we can, the small marginal amount which you can get from other line of businesses to maintain our APIs, and even we can innovate and we can create next set of APIs. So So the important the thing is like which will be reusing within the organizations. So that is a main thing, and even you can create a revenue out of that. Yeah. So just to summarize, right, I think I've just put one slide like overall benefits of the API economy. So if you look at like in digital transformation, where like we can do a seamless integration where we can connect to any cards applications to get the data, the data accessible, and it is very scalable and flexible systems, and we can create new revenue streams, and we can do a enrich customer experience, be it like the employee experience, customer experience, total experience, which will be able to improve using API. And the last slide, which I just put together, like how Conneqt Digital can help here. Like, see, Conneqt Digital, I think, as I was mentioning, like a lot of IT heads and CIOs, CTOs, there were a lot of challenges when they want to start a API, right? How do we start, and how do we build a API team, and what kind of API tool which we need to use, and how do we showcase a business value to the business that particular API is coming. So in Connect Digital helps here, like from initial consulting, and even we'll be able to do the analysis and do a consulting and even product selection based on your business need. We'll do the will recommend the API products, and even will help in the implementation journey. Will implement, and will do the maintenance and upgradation, installation, and migration of any legacy technologies. And even we have each the product predominantly we are helping customers, as I mentioned, like in integration we have a center of excellence team for MuleSoft, Delbumi, Workato, Web Methods. So we have center of excellence teams. Even the customers will help, like center for enablement for customer needs. We can build them a customer specific ICC centers for the integration specific to or the successful journey as a win-win. So few of the offerings I've just listed out here, like Microsoft architect will do microservices architecture, all hybrid integration, cloud native integration, API management. We'll build API economy, integration platform, and iPaaS is a products. Dell Boomi, Workato, MuleSoft are like iPaaS products, integration platform as a service. And we do like partner integration using like EDI, B2B. And I've just put together a few success stories as well. I'll quickly go through. See, one of the leading American professional services firm, there was a business challenge like existing Oracle cloud integration could not scale up and meet their the business need. So this is where I think the R team we have done a API led approach, and we have built like close to like 260 plus interfaces, and then we have integrated with using the workday integration also, which we have done. So benefits, if you see, right, like around 40% of the API reuse rate which we have which the customer is benefiting. And overall, like the availability of the APIs are like increased 99.98%, and overall 30% reduction in production release, and 20% overall increase in traffic management, which we are able to achieve. Yeah. And I'm just moving. This is one of the leading automotive firm. The customer wanted to integrate their SAP customer data platform and SAP cloud. They wanted to integrate where they were trying to get a huge the volume of data, and the file size were like very huge. I think we have used here like one of the iPaaS product Delbumi here, like where using the API-led architecture, which we are able to solve their the business problem, and then the benefit you see here, like the 50% of reuse of their the API, and then the overall I think we'll be able to 30% overall increase in their traffic management. So yeah. So even we connected like using inbuilt connectors like the Delbumi has the FTP connectors where we could able to connect them, and the large file size also will be able to the transfer very easily using Delbumi, the existing connectors. So this is one of the success story, and another one is like this is one of the recent very interesting the generative AI use case, and we have connected as an integration tool. We have used here as a MuleSoft API. The customer used to get like around 1,200 to 1,500 emails regarding that all account payable reconciliation emails. So the team they used to spend like there was a huge manual activities to respond. So yeah, what we have done, I think, using MuleSoft APIs, and the customer has the Azure OpenAI. So using like the Python scripting which they have developed, and using the intelligent, I think automatically we are responding to the users for all the emails within a fraction of seconds. I think we are responding to their queries. Yeah. So overall, I think benefit, I think which we have reduced like 50%, the huge the manual effort we have reduced here, and overall, I think it is currently at around almost like 70% of accuracy, and we are covering. I think that the coverage is 50%, and there are like prompt responses, and we are getting here like yeah. So this is one of the generative AI the use case which we have recently implemented. Yeah. So customer, I think here like benefited like a lot of like manual activities like in finance and automation activities, right? So there's a lot of manual activity, manual the human intervention we have reduced here. Yeah. So thank you all. I think with patiently listening this overall webinar. So now I think we'll give few minutes on the questions and answers here. So any questions I'll be able to take up. I think please feel free to ask the questions which I'll be able to address. I think Sipra, yeah. Rika, maybe I think you need to unmute. I think whoever has the questions.
I have asked everyone to unmute. You can unmute yourself and ask your questions.
So anybody has any questions so that we'll be able to address. So if there are no questions, I think thank you all for your time and listening this oral seminar. And feel free to send out a queries if you have any questions. I think you can email us so that we'll be able to address those questions. Thank you all. Thanks for your time.